here we are. The Pistons get embarrassed at home. The NFL schedule is released. The Spurs OKC tonight. Tigers are a joke. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and let's roll. Going to see a Super Bowl win. Like, my window is closing, Fred.
Never know. I mean, it could happen. I could end up at one of these Chauncey Billups poker games.
It's Monday, y'all.
Freddie, what's going on, my brother?
Nothing, just chilling, Sorry if you can hear all the sirens out there.
Dude, the block is always hot there. I don't get it, man. I can't wait till I come visit.
The block is hot. I will tell you about a little story later on in the pod about last night.
Okay.
But yeah, we're just chilling out here. Had a busy weekend, getting down to business in sports now. Got the conference finals in hockey, conference finals in basketball. The W kicked off. A lot of cool shit going on.
All right. Obviously, we watched the game last night, Fred, and it was not pretty. It was not pretty whatsoever. But I had reached out to now a reoccurring guest, the biggest Piston fan in the Detroit area, our boy. And I told him, I said, look, I need you on. And he said, no matter what, I'm on, and you and I talked about it. We said, we got to win. We got to win. And then I left him alone last night, woke him up this morning. I don't know if he was up or I was right there. And I said, Jake, it's up to you, buddy. It's up to you. And he had some choice words. He went through a rough one last night, but without further ado, let's bring on our main man, Jake Von Erich, the biggest Piston fan we know. Jake, welcome once again to the show. This is not how I wanted to bring you on. That is not the look I wanted to see on your face this morning. I'm going to let you kind of start with the floor. You were at the game last night. Obviously, both Fred and I watched on TV, and we have some thoughts on it. But why don't you kind of let us know where your head was at when you got there, what the atmosphere was like when you were there, and then we'll dig in a little bit in regards to how the game went. But Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not doing great today. Like I told you this morning, it's just I don't drink. Feels like I had 16 Jack and Diets last night and got in a fight and jumped by 7 dudes. I literally feel like I have a hangover. I drank 4 Diet Cokes and some water when I got home with electrolytes in it. I feel terrible. I slept okay-ish, but yeah, it was rough last night. Obviously going into any of these games, I'm always nervous. I'm always, you can be as confident, and I was very confident in this team after that game 6 performance, bringing it home and just believing in the fact that, we have Cade Cunningham. Duran came alive a little bit. Obviously now we've made kind of that switch, getting Paul Reed out there, Duncan Robinson back, firing off threes, looked pretty good in game 6, obviously hit a couple big ones. And, the history of James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. So, I felt confident going in. I was nervous getting there. Again, we talked offline a little bit. Obviously the report is that Dan Gilbert brought in 25 buses. I don't know how many people that is.
And hold up real quick. I want to make a comment. On that situation. I think that everybody in Detroit should boycott Rocket Mortgage starting today. I don't give a shit if my son works there or not. That was not cool, Dan. Not cool.
Yeah. I mean, they also mentioned it 15 times during the game. If you
you could tell.
If you watched it though, the broadcast, I was like, okay, we get it. I don't know, yeah, cool. But they showed clips of it. They mentioned it 15 times. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool, but
it's one of those things though that they're gonna latch onto to it's the, I guess what's the classic? It's the Clayton Kershaw and Stafford. Did you guys know that they're friends and they grew up together? It was that. It's that. And it's so it's that or it's when Doris Burke, she's been doing it for 4 years now. Can you believe LeBron James is 41 years old? It's yeah, Doris. Yeah, we know. You've said it 12 times in the game. Yeah, we actually believe. We've been here. But yeah, and I mean, dude, you could feel them, and he brought a bus of them in for game 2. There was casual Cavs fans, all of them, my wife and I, we sit right next to like a Cavs family section. Or visitors family section is where our playoff seats were. And so like we dealt with like the Magic ones, we dealt with these Cavs ones, and I'm respectful. I mean, like there's people, like yelling like curse words about like Dennis Schroeder. And I'm like, dude, you're 2 rows behind like his 4 kids and wife. Like, take it easy,
Have a little class.
you know, uh, Harden, you don't have to worry about a wife and kids. It's just the girls he meets at Legends and buys handbags at Somerset Mall while he's in town. But anyways, I mean, look, the Cavs had such a presence, and a shout out to Dan Gilbert for doing that. I'm not going to boycott Dan Gilbert. I mean, it's more like the Pistons allowed this to happen. And, that's a topic I guess we can get into even like later, but I don't know, if you sell the tickets for this disgusting amount where you have so many tickets left every game. And what I've come to realize is when you go on Ticketmaster and you see those pink circles, for the tickets that people are reselling, that's the arena and the team selling a good majority of those. It's not me selling my playoff tickets, trying to get off of them, make a quick buck. I've confirmed that because tickets they gave me were pink until they assigned them to me. So however they do that.
So was there a good majority of I didn't realize that was the case. Was there a good majority of those pink tickets available to purchase prior to the game?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, tons.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's where you see, and one of the big topics is, hey, look at all these seats, how empty they look. Now, unless you know the arena, and I don't know how every arena is, but, where the camera shot is, you got the center and like the sides. Well, that's the club seats, right? So those people are yucking it up, getting their drink on, eating unlimited food. So like, yeah, when the game starts or when halftime starts, all those people in those seats are in the club eating, drinking, whatever. I thought at game time, now maybe it was because there was 5 million Cleveland fans there, but I thought at game time, it was the best representation yesterday of like everybody in their seats. So that felt good. Like I said, I had a nervous energy all night. I felt confident. I'm always going to be nervous. And, those shots started rattling off and you're like, whoo, but it's okay. Cause this team, they can come back from adversity, even at halftime down, and even when we're down 20 something, I look over to Dawn. I'm like, it's all right. Like, we just got to make a couple plays, throw a couple punches. JB's going to talk to him at halftime. And, we've seen what this team can do like that. And it just did not happen. And, and back to the thing, like game 6, game 7, closeout game Harden and Mitchell didn't matter. I guess I forgot about closeout game Sam Merrill and Jared Allen. But yeah, I mean, then the game ends. Obviously, the Detroit fans, they were out of there early. The Cleveland fans, they were rocking and rolling. I will not leave until that buzzer sounds. I want to be there to give Cade a standing ovation when he walks out of the game. I want to be there, to give the guys as they're, dribbling out the clock a standing ovation for what was an incredible season, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But, to put it in one word, sucked. That's everything last night,
It did. And let me ask you this, Jake. Like, do I think the season was a success? Now, Fred and I have had this conversation numerous times. Fred said, you make it to the second round, it's a good season. Things started to kind of go in our favor with the Tatum injury, Halliburton out. The East wasn't as strong as it was in the past. So it's kind of like we kind of paved the road. The question is, as that road started to get paved, did the expectations get higher, number one? And number two, who do you put this loss on yesterday? Like, is it a lack of effort? I know a lot of people are on JB. I know that a lot of people are on Cade. What's your feeling on that with the expectations in the East being weaker in this year than in past years? Thoughts on that part of it?
Yeah. So, I think my slogan last summer was people are not ready for how good this Pistons team is going to be and what they're going to be capable of. And part of the calculation in that was Halliburton being injured, Philadelphia being Philadelphia, Tatum being injured. And with that, if you were really in the know, there was so much talk of like, we will see Tatum this year, which again, an unprecedented return, but like, and me not not being worried about the Knicks, right? And me thinking this Orlando team is just not all they're hyped up to be. And the same with Cleveland, right? And their, problems that they've continually had, which obviously when I was on with you guys back in February, you can replay that clip. I said I wasn't worried about Cleveland and that, and look, Harden made things happen. He won them games in this series. But, with that
100%.
window changing, I think those expectations did change in a sense, right? The window of opportunity from what many people probably thought and the chances of this team actually making it to the NBA Finals was legit realistic. No matter how you feel about what happened in this series, what happened in the Orlando series, Franz Wagner getting injured, whatever, there was a realistic chance that this team could have made it to the NBA Finals, which is insane. Like, let's just pause and think about like where this team was, where this team has been, and now all of a sudden they had a chance at the NBA Finals. But with that said, like you guys said and Freddie said, they improved. And the other thing I said back in February was, to me, we're playing with house money. And the other thing is we held on to that house money. We didn't spend that house money. We didn't go out and make that crazy splash. And while people might be mad about that, who was available? Who was available that was changing what happened last night and going forward, And then again, so we make it to the NBA Finals. Amazing success if that happens, but do we still get spanked by somebody else? Or maybe we did do something, but I don't think that player was out there. And to me,
let me hold
yeah.
I'm
I'm sorry,
you there
I could get
quick.
going. Yeah.
No, I hold you out there because this is a thing. And I've been saying this for a while, and I saw one of your videos, and you had said that nobody was, like, you're telling me nobody was available. We couldn't have picked up another shooter. We couldn't have picked up somebody who can take the weight of bringing the ball up, which we saw that was a little bit of an issue for Cade Cunningham with the turnovers and stuff like that. Like, you're telling me that there was nobody available that we could have made a move. I can't sit here and have you tell me that what we did at free trade was you were okay with. I can't get down with that.
So here's where I
or
go.
Free
right?
agency, I take that.
Yeah. So one, we had the best shooter in the league last year, based off what he did as a 3-point shooter. He was taken away from us. That sucks, losing Malik Beasley to a gambling pro. Now we go to the trade deadline, and again, so then Trajan goes out and literally gets the best 3-point shooter available in the free agent market. It was Duncan Robinson. Tim Hardaway, you look back and Karras was pretty good in these playoffs considering where he was throughout, the regular season. But, that was a miss. The Karis LeVert signing and letting Tim Hardaway walk. Trade deadline. So who were the options? Okay. Ayo Dosunmu had that amazing game, for the Timberwolves in the playoffs against the Nuggets. I think he is a player that, I looked, I'm like, Ayo would be a good fit here. He's going to be a free agent coming up. What would we have ultimately have had to give up? Who knows with the Bulls, right? I can't, Kobe White, right? He had a moment in the play-in for the Hornets. Ultimately, I believe he may have 1 year left on his contract. I'm not positive. Or he could be a free agent. I might be wrong. I should know that. So it's like, okay. But again, it's still Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu, right? I'm not, could they have helped? Yeah, probably. But the names that everyone threw out, Lauri Markkanen, he was not being traded. The Jazz were buyers. They're moving in that direction with him and Jaren Jackson. Also, for the price of Lauri Markkanen, is that what we want? Michael Porter Jr., the name everybody loved. You want that knucklehead here?
That's a big name that everybody's saying that we missed a boat on. Michael Porter Jr. was one.
Like, for the cost of Michael Porter Jr., I'm sorry. I saw that dude play with Jokic and fizzle out in the playoffs. And he's a knucklehead. And I don't think he fits what this team's about. And I will stand by that. And maybe I'm wrong, And again, maybe could they have, tried to make that move and find somebody that maybe we weren't thinking of. I'm sure there might be another name, but it's the biggest name that has impacted, I guess, the playoffs, the two biggest names at the trade deadline. And I mean, really, no one. I mean, it's Harden, right? And is that who we were wanted to go get. Is,
Yeah.
I mean, and again, would Harden maybe look good with Cade? Possibly, but like that's not the fit that you want. And that's Cleveland's last ditch effort that again worked against us. I just don't know if anybody was out there, and I was fine taking that risk to see what we have, because now we know that work needs to be done.
Fred, any thoughts on what in the game last night, or questions for Jake in regards to being there, or whatever the case would be, or where you see this team moving to?
Well, yeah, no, I think I was going to ask about the presence of those busloads of fans. So, but we got to that. I think they're a good team. I've always said that. I I'm not surprised with how it ended. Unfortunately, I do. I mean, yeah, Harden's a cancer, So, but he's a baller, and I didn't have. I think I was with Jake on that. I didn't have the confidence in him actually coming through for them.
To be honest with you, when that trade came through, I was like, okay, whatever. I wasn't
Yeah, and I agree
fearful
because
of it at all.
I'm a Sixer fan, and it happened to the Sixers. They got Harden, and everybody was like, "Oh, they're gonna win the East," and I'm like, "Are they?" Like, it was just so weird, and the fit was crazy, and it didn't work, obviously. But I mean, I do think that Cleveland's a good team. I mean, like I'm not gonna take that away from them, but I will also say this, and I've said this the whole time. For the Pistons, I understand they had the number one and all that. In today's NBA, the 1 and the 8 are closer than they've ever been in just because of load management and all that bullshit. Like, it's not the true 1/8 of the past. And with that being said, I mean, winning your first playoff series in 10 years, yeah, it's coming from what the team looked like.
18 years. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, everybody.
Yeah.
18 years.
So
Yeah.
Waking up the cat.
there you have it. And it's like another thing that Jake had said as well. I mean, look at their records from 2, 3 years ago. Like so are they trending in the right direction? Yeah. So like,
For sure.
now, I guess we'll see next year where we're where it goes. Are you gonna still be trending upward, or are you gonna like flatten out and make the playoffs, win a series, lose a series? Like, that there's a
Yeah.
little bit of concern. Right now, I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but as a Detroit Pistons fan, you had a successful year. I mean, it might not feel that way, but I think
Well, I think a couple things, right? Number one, right now this morning, and obviously you got the Piston haters out like in droves right now, but it's tough because of the way we lost, right? That like had the last night been close, it came down to the wire. We lost it at the end. They put in an effort that was what we would deem acceptable. I think that we would have a different feeling waking up this morning. But the lack of effort, I know it's easy to say sitting on the couch, but the lack of effort, it seemed right to appear that it just wasn't there. And obviously shots weren't falling. And I know Jake and I follow Jake. I listen to all his videos. Jake and I kind of take the same stance when it comes to the refereeing, like the officiating of these games. Like at the end of the day, NBA refs are terrible. You're not going to call everything. They've tried to do things to make this better, but you can't put last night's loss on an official. Plain and simple, you can't. Question though, Jake, when we went through the Orlando series and we made that run when we were down 3-1, it seemed that every game that we won, there was like one guy that stepped up, right? Whether the Duncan Robinson game, Tobias had some great games. LeVert had a couple of good games. Sesser has a couple of good games, but it was like one or the other. And that's where I think we lacked that consistency to give Cade the help that he needed. For you knowing these players ins and out, who in the playoffs for the Pistons this year surprised the hell out of you and really stepped up in the playoffs this year?
Now, I think the answer a lot of people would say is Paul Reed, and that just didn't surprise me. I've been on that guy since
You've been
day
a
one.
b-ball Paul guy for a long time, though.
Day one, the moment Philly waived him, I was like, that would be an interesting guy to bring in. I mean, people can say I'm full of it, but I'm b-ball Paul day one. I regret the fact that I had his jersey customed in the cart as b-ball Paul when we beat Houston in the 5th game of the year. But with that said, I mean, I think Karras had nice moments in the playoffs. It sucks that we wasted the game he went off. I don't know if, I mean, honestly, I guess the surprise would be whatever happened with Isaiah Stewart. And it's a negative surprise.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I'm not feeling good about Isaiah Stewart. I don't know if something's wrong with him. I mean, look, he was awesome in those first 3 or 4 games of the Orlando series, and he had an 8-block game. And after that, it just was like, oof. And he had a little moment in this Cleveland series, but in the spot minutes where he hit a couple threes. But I mean, last night was bad, and I don't think they showed it on TV. He was not happy when he went out of the game. He was throwing dudes on the ground, right? He went out of the game. He walked by Luke Walton, one of our assistant coaches, and Luke put his hand out, and he did not give Luke 5 or shake his hand. And you could tell he was upset, and then he dapped up his teammates, and Luke walked over, and they kind of had at it. I could see it from my seats. I couldn't see everything. I don't think it was on TV from what I hear, but yeah, I mean, just more of a negative surprise with Isaiah Stewart. I mean, the one thing is with this team, it's Cade, and it's a bunch of elevated role players, but then there is a guy that's probably going to make all NBA and was an all-star in Duren. And the other surprises, yeah, I mean, like, what has happened with Jalen Duren, so I mean, between him and Beef Stew, because to me, that was where this series, because Harden and Mitchell did not beat us in this game, really. Mitchell played well, but what happened is all of our bigs, for some reason, go to block the shot or help out. And then, you got the big man slipping, whether it's Mobley or Allen slipping and just getting open dunks. And that killed us last night. And then Merrill, and they were just getting open threes. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's a lot of role players. And obviously there needs to be another co-star. I think we all know that. And we knew that. But they wanted to see what they had with this team, and they went in and, with the thing, and I know I'm kind of jumping all over, but just some of the things, like with the success, it's like, yes, the way they went out last night was horrible, but it was game 7 of the second round. We were we were number 5 then from an elimination standpoint, right? In the league, and 14 wins 2 years ago, 44 wins last year, 60. It's moving in the right direction. And look where Cleveland is. This took years for Cleveland to get to this point. It took Boston to get to where, it takes time. And that's the thing we have is Cade's young, Duren's young. I have no idea what is going to happen with Duren this summer. But, I mean, the core is young. It's now up to Trajan Langdon and JB Bickerstaff to elevate and take this thing to the next level, because some of that improvement will happen. Growth is going to happen with Cade. You hope Asar, you hope maybe something with Ron Holland, and you hope that, Duren.
Who do you think? Let me ask you this, and then I'll ask you what the future is, and then we'll let you go. I know you got to run. Who's the biggest name on that team that we won't see next year?
Man, I think Duren's going to be back. I think we're going to get him at much less than was anticipated. Assuming he makes All NBA, which by all accounts he will, he'd be up for a 5-year, $287 million contract with us. He's not getting that. If he makes All NBA and signs an offer sheet somewhere, it's force 177. So if somebody does do that and we decide that we want to match him, which I imagine we still would, no matter what, right? He's 22. So then we're matching that for 177. I would say that the biggest name, if you think about, and I would have never thought this, I feel like this might have been the end for Isaiah Stewart. That was a guy who, in my eyes, I signed him to a lifetime contract. He is a Piston. He's the longest tenured Piston. He is, in a lot of ways, the heart and soul and the muscle of the team, all that. But he never got right after the fight. And maybe he will. But, a $15 million movable contract. Are we going to just roll with B-Ball Paul and Jalen Duren and then maybe find another cheaper option, for a third backup big? I think that could be the move. And, you kind of move that around. I think Tobias will be back. I really do. I think he will agree to some, team-friendly deal, hopefully. I'm going to say it's Isaiah Stewart, and it pains me to say that, but it was a bummer of a run for him here down the stretch. And again, I don't know if he was hurt, but it just, he never seemed to get all the way back to where he was as literally the best, interior, paint defender at the rim, after that fight with Charlotte.
For sure. That's kind of where I thought you were going to go. And then just just to wrap up the rest of the NBA season real quick, I'm just going to ask you, who do you think is going to win the OKC Spurs? Do you think the Spurs have what it takes to take down this team who has yet to lose a game?
Yeah. Well, to be frank, I don't care.
Maybe we'll ask you on
honestly
Thursday.
don't want to watch any of this stuff. Look, the Spurs had them in the regular season pretty well. I'm going to still say, the Spurs have looked good. But I'm still going to give the experience card to OKC. I think you got to take those bumps. And I hope that's what Pistons fans realize. We're taking the bumps. This doesn't just happen in 2 years, and I think the Spurs, again, they have a magical player, but, so do the Thunder. And I do think that experience will win out there. I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be close. And then, if we look out east, I'll be honest, I think I'm rooting for Cleveland because I kind of hate Knicks fans with the way they act. But again,
I thought you were
let them
gonna go
act the
totally
way they
different
want to act because we're not there to beat up on them and they're there. So I would say probably New York does it, right? But, it'll probably be New York and OKC. And I'd venture to say OKC wins it, but, who knows?
Yeah.
But who knows and who cares is how I feel at this point. It's just, it's such a bummer, but
it's tough. And like I said from I'm a Piston fan through and through. But when it comes down to it, I'm a Lions fan. So I knew the temperament that you were at, Jake, yesterday. I didn't even want to send a text. Yeah. I even hesitated to send it this morning. I was just hey, buddy, just, I've been there. I've been there as a Lions fan. And it emotionally, it's hard to be a Detroit sports fan. It really, really, really is. And to be fully vested into one team like you are to the Pistons or I am to the Lions, it's tough. And to take one on the chin last night like you did, that was tough. But Jake, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate you coming on, my friend. And hopefully once we get back up and running next season, we'll have you back on a couple times. And maybe next year is our year, as Fred says, is the motto of Detroit.
Yeah, for sure. I think just everyone has to be patient, understand that this is moving in the very right direction. And now they waited. Now they got to see what happened. They know that they have to make improvements, and I expect them to do that. So it was a great season. We should be proud of this team, and we'll see what this summer holds. But I would not be surprised by anything.
Awesome. All right, Jake. Thank you, bro. Take care, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there he is. I knew it was going to be a rough one. He almost didn't come on. He said, give me till 10 o'clock. I'll shoot you a text message and let's see where my head's at. Then I appreciate him coming on. That's a rough one, man. Dude, but the way we went out was tough last night, man. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to tell Jake because he would get so mad at me, but I was like, dude, I'm down. I jumped on, started by the halfway through the fourth. I started watching my new show on Netflix, which we'll talk about this week. It's awesome.
Well,
it's awesome.
With about 7 minutes left, I think it was, Mary's like, can we put the show on? I mean, we could still check in on the score. And I'm like, yeah, sure. We watched a show called Long Bright River.
Okay.
It's on Peacock. It's 8 episodes. It's Amanda Seyfried.
Okay.
But good show. She's a Philly cop in Kensington, which is like a rough section of Philly. A lot of ODs and stuff like that. And these girls, it's about some of the girls of the night going missing and killed.
Okay. I think I can get down with that. We were watching Nemesis.
Okay.
It's a new show that just got released. It's 8 episodes on Netflix. And one of the characters, I was like, man, I know who he is. Why it is so familiar? I had to look it up. And he played Magic Johnson in one of those. It was like winning it all or something. Yeah, the Lakers show.
Okay.
But it's actually a good show. I think I have like 2 more episodes, so I'm going to knock that out tonight. Then we got to get on our new show for Couch Critic, so I got to get on that.
Yeah.
But let's keep rolling with the sports, Fred. PGA Championship this weekend. I don't know. Uruguay winning kind of like lackluster Sunday. There was a lot of big names going into like crunched up at the leaderboard going into Sunday. So you kind of thought that this was going to be one of those typical major Sundays, but it was pretty disappointing. I mean, the guy hit a 68-foot putt, which was pretty sweet.
I did see that.
Can we say that was to win it? Sure, I guess. Probably would have won if he
Possibly.
would have two-putted that. You know what I mean? But still, the dramatics were there. It was awesome. But we talked this off camera, and I know that you loved it. You probably are an Aaron Rye fan just for the simple fact that he wears two gloves.
Yes.
You're a big two-glove guy.
I love
You
that.
love Teddy Two Gloves.
Yes. Maybe he was doing it in honor of Teddy Two Gloves. Like, maybe he's a big Teddy fan.
He could be. He could be a big Teddy fan. But it was interesting. So do you think all these young kids are just now going to wear two gloves playing golf? I mean, if he can do it, why can't I?
I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's not crazy at all. Like, I've always thought that. Like, I played golf late in life.
Yeah.
So I kind of, playing baseball, I kind of thought it was weird just to have one.
I don't really get it either. And obviously I'm a big golfer, but I'll tell you what, I take mine off right away. You don't want the tan lines.
Well, not even that, but like I have got blisters on my right hand. Now my swing is terrible and my grip is probably terrible. Maybe that's why. But I wouldn't be opposed to wearing one. So I don't know. It'll be interesting moving forward if some of these companies start to promote that or advertise the right hand glove.
You never know. You never know. And I don't even know if there's a reason why that people don't wear two gloves, to be honest with you. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know it's not my suntan response. I know that's not it, but you never know. Fred, I know that you hate talking preseason, pre-football this early, but there's something the schedule's released. Okay. The Lions schedule is released. I went through the schedule and I thought, number one, I thought the biggest thing that I caught my attention for the Lions was we have 3 games in 11 days, which is crazy to me. The fact that we don't have a bye after Germany is wild. The fact that we have an early bye in week 6 is crazy. So we go the Germany game on the 15th. Then we go the Bucks on the 22nd, and then we have the Thanksgiving Day game against the Bears. Isn't that a lot in 3 games in 11 days? It seems crazy to me.
I mean, what did it look like last year in the week before Thanksgiving and then Thanksgiving?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I guess it's more or less the overseas games.
I definitely know they weren't overseas, but
right.
I'm going to say that they probably had the same setup.
But normally they have like don't quote me on this, but normally they'll play like a prime game, like a Thursday night, and then they have that 3 or 4 days off, and then they play on Thursday or something like that too. I don't know. I just think it's a lot of games in a short amount of time, and having a bye in week 6 seems very early.
I mean,
but I don't know.
The Steelers had a bye in week 5 last year, and I was like kind of happy it was over. I hate the bye week. So like I was kind of like happy, like, yeah, good, let's go. But then I like during the year, I was like, man, I wish they had an off day like week 9, 8, like, like something like that.
I mean, essentially, for the most part, I know in the Lions case, the later the bye week, the better.
Definitely.
We obviously are always end up in injury situation. You know what I mean? Like, well, we're much needed. 6 seems so early. But with that being said, Fred, just want to lay this on you. I'm gonna throw it out right now. I got us at 13-4. 13-4. Here's our losses. We're gonna lose to Buffalo in week 2. Unfortunately, we're gonna lose to the Pats in Germany, and we're going to split with the Bears and Packers.
Okay.
The wins go.
You're going to sweep
Saints.
the Vikes?
We're going to sweep the Vikes. Yep.
Okay.
We're going to sweep the Vikes. We're going to go Saints. These are our wins. Saints, Jets, Panthers, Arizona, split with the Pack, sweep the Vikes, Dolphins, Bucks, Bears, Vikings. I already said that. Falcons, Titans, Giants. I don't think we have a really hard schedule as far as the teams out there.
And, the strength of schedule comes out. And, like, first of all, I am not a fan of that.
Yeah, I know you aren't.
Because I think that, and I know what they're doing. I mean, I understand it, but I don't think that you should take any shred of confidence in that type of like.
You have no idea. And here's when I was going through that schedule, one of the teams that really stuck out to me, to be honest with you, and I think you'll agree, but you're not going to be excited about it, is the Giants.
I think they're going to be really good this year.
I mean, new coach. Right. I think that's a team that
they had some injuries last year, like Malik. Like, so like with Malik back and Dart playing well and their defense playing well, yeah, they're going to be a good team. Like I definitely feel that. Um,
Yeah.
and one of the things I was saying about like the strength of schedule, like last year I was talking to Jackson Spikes about it, and it was like the Giants have the toughest schedule in the league, and I'm like, I'll let you know that at the end of the season, like,
Fair.
and it's like you can't go in to the season saying we're fucked. We have the toughest schedule. Like, it's too bad. Like, like it is what it is. You play your fucking division twice. You play another conference in your another division in your conference. You play another division in the AFC, and then you play the other teams that were in the same ranking as you were in your division. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
And that's why they're saying that, well, so Detroit had the number 1 easiest schedule in the list. And I'm like, yeah, but I understand why, because like I just said, they're playing all the last place teams in the other divisions. But also, I'll let you know at the end of the year if they had the easiest schedule. Then you can tell.
Right.
At the end of the year, you could
Right.
be like, well, look at the teams they played. But I don't take that into effect. I think that's dumb. On my side of the aisle, I think one more year of agony with the Steelers, it's just prolonging the next, generation. Another 9-win season, is what I'm looking at.
I don't get the Aaron Rodgers signing, man. I don't get it.
Well,
There's not a better option out there. Why not start now? Like,
well, I think
if I was in your seat, I would be absolutely frustrated with the Aaron
Well,
Rodgers
I don't-
situation. Absolutely frustrated with it.
I think the reason they're not starting now is because they don't think that Chill Will or Alar is the guy. Like I don't think that they think those are the guys. So instead of like a total waste year, you can bring Rodgers in for $25 million and have another 9-win season and get knocked out in the first round.
Do you think there is a situation where Aaron Rodgers could possibly be benched at one point in this season? Not at all. The only thing that's going to leave him out is his health.
Yeah. Listen, he played decently. I mean, I personally, I don't think Chill Will is the guy. I don't think Drew is the guy. We obviously know Mason Rudolph's not the guy. So it's just another year of prolonging the new start. Now, listen, maybe like we won't know until after this year because, like I said, I don't think that Rodgers in any means will get benched, so we won't see anybody else play. It like as soon as it happened, I kind of yelled from the other room, and Mary was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Rodgers another year." Like, I'm like, I mean, I knew it was coming, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I texted my Steeler guys again, and said, "Looks like another 9-win season. Hopefully, the draft looks great next year for a quarterback."
Well, and as of right now, it does look really good next year.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be pretty loaded. But again, that's I preface this by saying, like, look, this could be the same thing as your strength of schedule analogy. I mean, these guys are supposed to be good. You know what I mean? Let's see how the season plays out. Let's see. These are all expectations. But there's no league, sports league that overhypes the offseason like the NFL does.
Yeah.
So I understand where you are at with your draft talk, your free agency talk, your strength of schedule talk, your release date of the schedule. It's just a lot. It's a lot for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I like the draft. I'm not too concerned about now. Again, next year, right? Let's fast forward. If we know that the quarterback draft is deep, and we know that the Steelers are in, which I'm going to say they're probably not, which is unless they are high up on the draft, because they have to give Drew Aller and Chill Will a chance. I feel. I don't know why you would draft guys like, and just never give them a chance. So you might as well give them a chance. But I mean, if they are in a position, then I would be excited. But I do like the schedule release. I hate the fact that they have to make a
I
big,
love that. I like that.
I just like to look at all the games, right? You know what I do in my house? I see how many Lion games and Steeler games are at opposite times.
Overlapping.
I always watch the Lions game with Mary. And so like we go through each week and most of the time it's really weird that, I watch a ton of Lions games, because they don't really always play. The Steelers play a lot of 1 o'clocks, and they only have a couple, like, night games this year, and I feel like the Lions have been getting more and more primetime games, and the Steelers
Right.
have been getting less,
So it's worked out.
Yeah. So, yeah, it has worked out, but I do like the schedule release. The thing I hate about the schedule release is all the leaks and stuff. Just fucking release the schedule.
I
It's
know.
so
I
dumb
know.
that it's like, "Oh, we found out who's playing on Christmas. We found out who's" who just fucking release the schedule. Like, you're telling
Right.
me that a week ago, you didn't have the schedule ready? You were still putting pieces together?
Yeah.
I mean, the schedule's been
Not true.
ready since the draft.
Right. 100%. But I don't know. Now that basketball's over and we're moving on to our next subject, Tigers are just trash, dude. They're absolute trash right now, and it's terrible. To be honest with you, I really have nothing to say, nothing good to say about the Tigers. It's just, I feel bad for people like my grandma who, she called me the other day. She's like, "What channel's the game on? I can't believe it's not on." I'm like, "I can't believe you're still watching it, but whatever. Like, go for it. Go for it." But she's diehard, bro. Like, diehard. 93 years old. She is diehard. She watches every single game. You can call her up right now. Like, if I had the technology to get her on here to hear what she has to say about each and every player, but she's obviously like, she knows it. I mean, it's crazy at 93 years old. I mean, the lady sometimes forgets to button her shirt the right way, but she'll tell you exactly who's starting for the Tigers and what their ERA is, her thoughts on it. But that's baseball for you. That's baseball. But Fred, you go ahead.
I had this conversation with Mary yesterday about the Tigers, actually, where I said to her, we were talking about the podcast, and I said, we have Jake coming. I was telling her, and I said,
Yep.
so we're going to talk a lot about the game and blah, 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 and I said, and probably not much else because I guarantee Brad's given up on the Tigers. And he said, how can anyone give up so early? And I said, that's Detroit.
No, I'm not the only one, dude. It's bad, dude. It's bad.
Well, and here's my thing.
And here, wait, let me preface this. When we start getting the guys back, and we start to get help, I'm going to be back on. But some of these guys, there was a guy that pitched Friday evening, I believe it was, because she made me look it up because I was coming home from the golf course. She calls me. I'm like, let me call you on my way home. I'm looking it up, trying to find out what channel it's on for. She's asking me who's pitching. I was like, Grandma, to be honest with you, I don't even know who this guy is. I have no clue who he is. She's like, yeah, and she didn't either. I don't even remember who it was.
But here's the thing. This is this is how I feel personally. I know you can't stand hearing it. I think they have a chance because they're in the Central. As bad as things are for the Tigers with all these guys hurt and just the string of games that, getting swept by the Mets was not awesome. I mean, the Yanks got beat 2 of 3 against the Mets. They're 5.5 out of first. And if that sounds crazy to you or too much, they're only 2.5 games out of the wild card. So, like, as terrible as things look, and like you said, with guys eventually coming back, I'm not too worried if I'm a Tiger fan. Listen, I'm not happy, right?
Not happy at all.
I'm not
happy at all. Let's see what we look like at full strength. Let's see what we look at full strength.
I'm not like super excited, but I feel like right now is the time where the Tigers need their fans to stick with them and try to like grind out a couple wins here, win a couple series each week, and get to the now look at Chicago, the White Sox. I knew they would be really good or a lot better than they were. So now you're not just contending with the Cleveland, team like every other year. Now you're throwing the White Sox in the mix. I don't think you're going to have a problem with the Twins or K-City, but you got the White Sox in the mix now. But 2.5 games out of the fucking wild card. I mean, dude, you're there. You're right there.
Well, again, that's why I said I want to see what happens when some of these guys come back, because the last thing I want to do is win the division, get super excited, and then get our doors blown off in the first round. Like, what fun is that? Just to say you made the playoffs?
Listen, I'm a big advocate for I'd rather make the playoffs and lose than not make the playoffs. I know there's a lot of people out there, they're like, and this comes from Giants fans and Mets fans a lot. They don't make the playoffs, and then your team gets knocked out, and they're like, I'd rather not make the playoffs than get fucking blown out in the second round. It's like, no, I'd rather make the playoffs. That's
It is fun. It is fun because you had a little bit of hope.
It's
You have
just-
some hope.
it's just the silliest thing to say. And listen, people have been saying that to me about the Steelers. Like, dude, don't you wish that I'd rather not make the playoffs than get knocked out in the first round every year? And I'm like, making it to the playoffs every year is kind of a cool thing. To me. Now,
But when it hinders the moves you can make in the offseason, now I don't know baseball like I know basketball or football, but the drafts and stuff like that, like making the playoffs every year and losing first round, I would assume is a little bit different in football than baseball. No?
I don't think so. I just now what I've said was the worst thing that happened to the Steelers in getting their new generational quarterback was making the playoffs with those last years of Ben. And then,
So you're contradicting yourself. You're saying that I'd rather make the playoffs. So I know for a fact that you would have much rather have a higher draft choice
I would have.
in your situation with the Steelers.
I would have, but I will take the playoffs over that every year. Listen, just making the playoffs, like you said, the excitement of a playoff game, it's like, and the same thing with baseball. Like, anything could happen in baseball. The series are longer. This isn't football. This isn't a one and done.
True. I mean, the Tigers proved it 2 years ago.
So yeah, I mean, dude, you can make some moves. You can get hot. Yeah, I would definitely rather make the playoffs. And I just think that right now, I don't think that the Tigers are out of it by any means. If you're 2.5 games out of the wild card, I mean, the record doesn't show it, but in reality, they're 2.5 games out of the wild card. So who cares what the record?
Yeah, I think I forget. I didn't even write it down because I'm shocked that we're talking about them that much right now. And to fact, but I think we've lost 18 and 22. Does it sound fairly?
It's definitely I think they were 17 and 2 in the last 19 or something like that, or 2 and 17. Yeah, it's bad. But my point is, even proves my point even more. As bad as it is been, they're 2.5 games out of the fucking wild card. So
Fair.
You're at rock bottom, right? But you're only 2.5 out. There's teams right now, Brad, that are 10 games out in May.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It could be worse.
It could be a lot worse. You could be at the point where you're like, yeah, it is over. It's like there is no chance. We have all our guys and we're still 10 games out. Right. So, I wouldn't be that concerned yet. I mean, yes, of course there's a sense of urgency, but it is early. There's a lot of time to go on a couple runs, especially if they get some healthy guys back.
I was kind of prepping for the show last night and a little bit this morning, and there's a game 7 tonight.
What's that?
There's a game 7 tonight.
Yeah, Sabres. So it's the Habs and the Sabres, which is going to be a crazy game. The series has been great. And then,
so before I want you to go into it because I want you to tell me who's going to win this. But again, outside looking in, not a huge hockey guy. I will watch the game tonight because I'm very interested. And the reason why I want to watch the game is I was looking at the scores. It was 6-2, 8-4.
It's been crazy.
That's cool.
It's been pretty crazy. The last game, which was Saturday, I guess. Yeah, Saturday night. I feel like it was 3-2 at the end of one.
You don't see that.
Yeah, it was. These games have been great. So moving forward with the NHL, are we done with baseball yet? Or
you talk whatever you want.
No. Well, I'll cap off the NHL. It's just big game tonight. Should be a very entertaining game. But the winner plays Carolina. And then the other series is just another amazing series with Golden Knights and the Avs. I mean,
what's that at right now? I'm looking this up right now.
Well, it's game 1 tomorrow.
Wait, okay. And then you have game 7 tonight.
Yes. So then game 1 will be Wednesday with the winner tonight against Carolina. So it's pretty
tonight.
Pretty interesting.
Who wins tonight?
I would initially like to say that I think the Sabres are going to win, but Montreal has been surprising me the whole time. So, but I'm going to stick with it. I think the home team wins tonight and we'll see. I don't know.
home team is
The Sabres.
Sabres?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think Buffalo wins tonight. I don't think they beat Carolina, either one of these teams.
Okay.
And then
You
on the other side,
you mean
no, Carolina plays the winner of tonight's game for the
oh, I
conf
got you. Okay.
conference
For the
final. I don't
conference. I got you.
Yeah, I don't think either one of these teams beats Carolina, but so I would have Carolina going to the Stanley Cup. And then the Avs and Golden Knights series, I think you're talking about scoring. I think that's going to be a crazy series. And I got the Avs. I got the Avs winning the whole thing. So like, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were
Yeah,
okay.
it'll it's
Before
getting
we
interesting though.
before we wrap up and give you give us the WNBA update, I want to hear the story you talked about. I think it was, I don't even know if you were off air, on air. You said, I want to tell you something about what was going on in the streets of San Diego. Fill me in, my friend.
So last night I step out. I'm in the bathroom. It's late. I usually have my last smoke around 11 to 12 o'clock, right?
Okay.
In that wheelhouse. It's the last time I go outside. I come out, I go into the other room, and Mary says, "Did you hear those noises?" And I said, "No, I really didn't. Like I had the water running, like, in the bathroom." So I said, I didn't hear anything. She's like, "Yeah, it sounded like booms and like people shooting off guns." And I'm like, like initially I'm like, yeah, okay, so I got to go outside now anyway. So, which makes me want to go outside more. So I go outside.
Of course.
So I go outside and I'm having my late night smoke, scrolling through my phone. And I'm always aware of my surroundings, but I don't really give a fuck what's going on, if that makes sense.
100%. I know you well enough. I hope that's an explanation to the people, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
And when you're standing out front and you're scrolling, you don't really pick your head up a lot when you hear a car because there's so many Ubers in and out, right? And DoorDashers. So it's not like you hear a car coming, oh, who is it? It's fucking dude delivering a package. So I have my head down and I hear someone say, "Excuse me, sir." I pick my head up, lady officer, squad car, two people, both female officers. They were riding with a partner. "Excuse me, sir." "Yeah, what's up?" "Have you heard gunshots?" And I said, "No, I just literally walked outside." And she said, "How long ago?" I go, "Literally just now. I just lit my cigarette up." She goes, "Oh, okay, leave." Now I see squatties constantly circling the block.
All right.
There's a parking lot here. I saw a cop go into there, drive around, circle around, So then I come back up and I tell Mary, and she's like, "I told you." So, but
So you no clue?
we don't know what's going on. My guess is this is my theory. Somebody was just popping off, right? No big deal. I wouldn't say that it's anything crazy, but I think it's just somebody shot off up into the air, which is normal shit. Like, I mean, for me personally, I don't see any problem with something like that. I know, like the whole stray bullet thing, it has to come down, stuff like that. But I'm not going to say that, like, I've never done something dumb like that. Like, I mean, I think allegedly the first time I fired a gun was out of a sunroof going down like the fucking parkway. Like, allegedly, let's say. Let's say allegedly, right? And so, like, I just think somebody was popping off out here. Now, the thing is, who was popping off out here? Because it's like, if the unhoused, are they packing? Like, are they
think you'd sell it for food.
So, but, that was it. Nothing crazy. I mean, just a little,
I cannot wait. I looked it up. I actually text Mary. 34. I think I'm under 30 days. Under 30 days and when I'll be there. So I'm really kind of excited about that. I can't wait to see the environment you're living in. I obviously hear all the stories, but I'm like excited. I can't wait. And it's coming soon enough, my man.
Yeah.
Why don't you wrap us up with a little WNBA updates and then we will be on.
I will address the elephant in the room. The Yanks had a terrible week.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
Lost 2 of 3 against Baltimore. Lost 2 of 3 against the Mets. I
did have that in the notes, by the way.
Yesterday was the worst loss of the year by far. Up 6-3, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, let up a 3-run homer. You're not winning after that. So I have a guy on my team who's from Long Island. He moved out here 18 years ago. He's a Mets fan. So as soon as I got to the game, I said, "What's going on?" Because when I was in the car, it was 5-3. He goes, "It's 6-3 now." Okay. I said, "Let me know what's up." So I come off the field and he goes, "Bro." And I go, "What?" He goes, "We tied it up." And I was like, "No way." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "With 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, 3-run homer." And I was like,
Right.
Game's over." He goes, "No, it's going into extras." I said, "Yeah, game." Like, you don't win after that.
No.
So, like,
The momentum is just not on your side.
and I mean, I guess it's the same stuff as I've been telling you. As bad as that looks this week, the Yanks have the second best record in the AL. 3 games out of first now. Tampa just keeps winning. I mean,
I saw that.
it's
Wow.
crazy. But this week here is a very big week because we have 4 against Toronto and 3 against Tampa. So, like, as shitty as last week was, here we go now. Like, this is,
Beat Tampa.
yeah, beat. You got to split with Toronto at least, and you got to beat Tampa 2 out of 3. So, like, I mean, this is it. But another thing I'd like to mention is MDW coming up, right? So I don't know what
You are a big MDW guy.
MDW. It's the kickoff. It's the first of the Triple Crown. It's the summer Triple Crown, and it's kind of like the Preakness is like July 4th. The Preakness is like Labor Day. Belmont
Yeah,
would
that's
be
fair.
like 4th of July, and Kentucky Derby is MDW. Like, it's like, the Daytona 500. So we got MDW coming up this weekend. I don't know what you guys have planned. Usually what we have planned is a house full of people. So this is going to be a little different this year,
Yeah.
but it's interesting. And you can't forget
Yeah.
MDW. I mean, dude, it kicks it off. It's one thing I do miss about being out west and not being in Jersey is MDW to LDW. That whole block there is fucking just an awesome time to be in the area we were. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a little bittersweet this weekend, not being in Jersey for MDW.
Makes sense. I get it. A little bit different this year.
Yes. Speaking,
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to bring Jersey to San Diego? Fred? Maybe get a nice pie.
that's a good question.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, maybe, probably. I mean, the good thing is, you can still go to the beach. Now I don't know how MDW is here, because they go to the beach every weekend. So, like, it's not like it's a kickoff to anything. But we will see. I would like to probably get close to a beach somewhere, which I am anyway. But maybe, like, just walk around one of the, like, either. I like Ocean Beach. I like Pacific Beach. Maybe walk around a little bit. But yeah, it'll be cool to have the long weekend and chill. What do you
Awesome.
guys have planned? Torch Lake?
No Torch Lake Wood Bat baseball tournament.
Oh,
Dax plays Friday night and Saturday morning.
Wood Bat. How old? And they got a Wood Bat tournament?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
like
I didn't.
3-2, 4-3 finals, 2-1.
Hopefully. So a little bit of baseball and probably a lot of golf to fill in the holes.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's cool.
I haven't even looked at the weather. I don't even know. I haven't even looked at the weather. I looked at the weather this week. I know Sarah plays on Wednesday, no rain. I play on Thursday, no rain. Friday looks decent, but I didn't look at the weekend yet.
What do you mean she in a league?
Yeah, league. Yeah, golf league.
It's a women's league?
Mhm.
Don't they have like a mixed doubles?
We don't. I wish we did. We would dominate.
Okay.
Dominate.
How is she doing in the league? Did it just start, or?
Yeah, it just started. In fact, last week they didn't have because of she hasn't been happy so far. It's been cold. So this will be our first nice Wednesday. And they didn't even play last week. It was so cold. She's like, this is stupid.
Okay.
It was like 45 and windy.
All right, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I mean, that's awesome. So to end it with the W, just kicking off, some big numbers came out. Like Asia Wilson dropped 45 the other night. I mean, she's won the MVP 3 of the last 4 years, but, like, best player on the planet will probably go down as the best player of all time, possibly. Bam Adebayo's girl. You know that whole story.
Yeah.
But the Liberty looks great. Still waiting for Sab to get back. They're 3-1. The only game they lost was in Portland on a comeback, on a putback at the buzzer when the score was tied off of a crazy 3 to OT. But, the Liberty had traveled to Portland, so I'm not too mad about that game. But 3-1, like yesterday, Caitlin made history again, I think, like 20-10. She had, I think that's like she has the most 20-10 games or something like that. She just
which is wild in the short amount of time she's played
she
in the
just
league.
keeps breaking records and stuff like that. But like, it's pretty interesting. They're putting up there's a couple, like if you look through some box scores, like I said, I mean, Asia Wilson putting up 45 is crazy. Like,
let me ask this: what's the viewership numbers?
well, they're at the highest they ever were, and they've been climbing, obviously, and we've been talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you did say that. That's crazy. Good for them. That is. All right. Sounds good. Well, I will see you on our Couch Critics. What's the movie where it's all gray?
In the Gray.
In the Gray. Okay. And maybe we'll get a little update on the Coldwater Classic too. I haven't heard from him all weekend. He's been pretty silent. I think the weather was nice for him, so I'm excited to hear about the Coldwater Classic. I did get an invite for next year.
That's big.
I made the cut.
That's big.
Maybe.
It's a start.
As of right
It's a
now,
start.
it's a start. We'll see. All right, Fred. Talk soon, my friend.